Before the first cry of the cities, the earth groaned beneath ash. Dawn rose weak and sorrow-colored, and men remembered the sins that called the fire. Fields once bright with harvest lay black and brittle. Smoke stitched the horizon while wind carried embers like the last prayers of a dying age. The ground trembled with ancient footfalls, memory of giants etched into soil. Even the birds knew the cadence of terror and fled the barren boughs. The giants ravaged the earth. But the true corruption came from the watchers themselves. The fallen gathered in defiance, crowns of ruin upon their brows. Among them, Azazel burned like iron in the furnace, a teacher of forbidden fires. Hear the name that smolders through ages, Azazel. His shadow lengthened over hearts before steel ever kissed the anvil. He entered among the humble and the poor with a smile of promises. Awe bent knees, and reverence became the first chain. Hands reached for earth and glimmer alike. Children watched wonder become want, and want turned quietly into hunger for power. And Azazel taught mankind what was never meant for human hands. Ories awakened to his whisper. Veins of metal bled into channels of war. Fire learned obedience to those who learned from him. Hammers rang like omens. Each blow shaped not merely blades, but futures sharpened against brother and neighbor. Edges thinned to a murderous grace. Balance found its purpose upon the line that divides peace from conquest. Armor grew like scales over men who once tilled soil. Beauty and terror mingled as craft became the language of dominion. With knowledge came weapons. With weapons came war. Another lesson, the mirror of pride. Silver words lacquered over emptiness until emptiness gleamed. Minerals ground into allure, eyes rimmed with starlit dust. The watchers taught the art of attention, how to summon it and be consumed by it. Gems kissed the wrist. Bronze returned a curated smile. Hearts weighed themselves by reflections and forgot the measure of truth. In secret courts, glances purchased verdicts. Counsel swayed like fabric to the breeze of vanity, and justice learned to bow. And vanity took root in mankind. They unrolled the night and wrote upon it signs. The sky became a ledger where men sought control over what should be revered. Kokabel mapped constellations with living lines. Wonder moved from worship to manipulation as crowds held their breath. Stones and stars were bent into diagrams of desire. The air thickened with symbols that promised mastery and delivered bondage. They taught sorcery, for control, not wisdom. Herbs whispered to bones and brass answered in circles. Power gathered, not to heal the land, but to enthrone the self at its center. And the earth learned a cadence, the drum of hoof, the strike of blade, the silence after. Lines rushed together in rain and lightning. Mud remembered names the living would not speak again. Night became a cloak for greed. Torches searched doorways like hunting dogs and found the helpless first. Even in halls of council, whispers carried a crown. Law bent its knee to appetite, and parchment sealed the wound. Divination anointed ambition. The banner lifted, and prophecy was forced to wear the colors of war. The earth became a place of war. The strong ruled, the weak feared. Giants of legend or men swollen with violence. The ground shook the same. Trees leaned back as if unwilling to witness. Pride rose like thunderheads, beautiful, immense, and hollow at the core. The watchers stood above the ruin they midwifed. Some turned away, others drank the storm as wine. Azazel watched men kill in reflections of his teaching. Heat shimmered where mercy should have lived. They gloried in their influence, not seeing they'd sown destruction. Morning tried to rise through ash. The earth exhaled a tired plea that only heaven could hear. Birds broke pattern, clouds coiled like a question. Creation itself seemed to remember its maker and ask for help. Rivers mirrored burning roofs, and cries braided with smoke. The sickness had spread from tools to hearts. Not just giants, but wickedness taught by angels now plagued the earth. I walked where laughter used to live and heard only wind. The dust kept stories it could not tell. Between broken beams, I saw the lessons of angels etched on human wounds. Each step felt like treading upon a prayer unanswered. Mothers clutched tomorrow as if it might run away. Elders stared through time, and I learned what sorrow weighs.
What has been taught must be judged.
He knew judgment was near. The beginning and the end faced each other on the horizon. Signs warned like trumpets without sound. Mountains split under the memory of their crimes. Lightning revealed outlines of power that thought itself unjudgeable. Armies answered omens with strategy and steel. Banners shouted louder than conscience could whisper. Circles blazed. Talismans rose like counterfeit suns. Their hands stitched energy into knots that strangled the soul. Above it all, the watchers smiled at their craft, not seeing the storm's eye widening over their pride. This is the chapter where corruption spreads into every corner of the earth. Then came stillness, the pause before verdict. Even the smallest feather learned the weight of judgment. Thunder rolled like distant footsteps. Light pulsed within the clouds as if a hand closed slowly into a fist. And for this, the judgment of the Most High is now inevitable. Darkness softened the world like a curtain before the final act. The last drumbeat waited for the word that would end the noise.